Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Mathematics for Humanity. This is episode number 4. And in this episode, we're going to talk more about negative numbers and maybe I'll give some examples of subtraction in the last part. But by the way, please don't forget to share this video to help others. In the previous session or in the previous episode, we knew that there were two types of numbers. The first one that we knew, the first number that we knew were counting numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and so on. Now we have another type. Those were actually positive numbers, and the other type are negative numbers, which we knew in the previous session. So these positive numbers were actually extending from 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and so on, going to the right or going to the left. When we knew it, we didn't know about negative numbers, but now that we know negative numbers, our number line has extensions from right, from has extensions going to the right and extensions going to the left. In this case, our number line now constitutes of positive and negative numbers. Here you have going to the right are positive numbers. So you can write this as 1, just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and so on. Without the plus, you can leave the plus, but this number can be written just like that. So on this side, on the right side, or extending towards the right, are positive numbers. And extending towards the left side, or should I draw it like this? Extending towards the left side are negative numbers. So our positive number 1 has a counterpart of negative 1. Our negative 2 has a counterpart of our positive 2 has a counterpart of negative 2. Our positive 3 has a counterpart of negative 3, and so on. So look at this one. Going to the right, we can see that we start with 0, or we start from 0 here. 0 is actually the center between the two types of number. So everything are going from 0 to the right are all positive, and going from 0 to the left are all negative numbers. So starting from 0, we see that we can count 1, and then we count 2, 3, 4. The magnitude is increasing towards the right. Here also, from 0 going to the left, we have negative 1, negative 2, negative 3, negative 4, negative 5. If you count negative 1, negative 2, negative 3, negative 4, going there, you also see that the distance from 0 to 1, you have this distance here. You are going farther if you go to negative 2. That's actually the magnitude. From 0 to negative 2 has a magnitude longer than from 0 to negative 1. And of course, when you go from 0 to negative 3, the distance is much longer. So that's the magnitude actually. It's the distance from 0. So when you go from 0 extending to the left, you're also increasing the magnitude. But look at this, and let's talk more about the number line. The numbers are placed like this. You have 1, going to that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and so on. And for the negative numbers, it seems that it's going reverse. So you start with 0, then negative 1, negative 2, negative 3, negative 4, negative 5, negative 6, negative 7, negative 8, negative 9, negative 10, and so on. So from 0, moving away from 0, a step to the right is 1, and a step to the left is negative 1. And then two steps to the right is 2, and then 2 steps to the left is negative 2. So that's how the numbers are arranged in the number line. Don't forget that. So here's the rule on number line. The numbers on the right of a particular number are greater than it, while those on the left are lesser or smaller than it. So for example, we take the number 3. All of the numbers here on the right are greater than 3, while the numbers going to the left are less than 3. Or let's take a negative number. Let's take negative 7 for example. All of these numbers on the right of negative 7 are greater than negative 7. The left of negative 7 are lesser than negative 7. So as an example, or as examples, we look at this. Positive numbers are always greater than negative numbers. Why? Because positive numbers are here, and then you have negative numbers here. So the positive numbers are always in the right side of the negative number. So they are greater than the negative numbers. Next one. 5 is greater than 4 here. Or you can symbolize greater with or greater than with this symbol. So you have here 5 is of course greater than 4 here. And then you have 3 is lesser than 8. So you have 8 here and you have 3 here. So it's found on the left side of 8. 3 is found on the left side of 8. So that's less than. You symbolized lesser than with this symbol. So you can see the symbol here. So let's clean some things. Okay, so you have 3 is less than 8, but of course you can flip them. You can flip the two numbers and flip the sign. Then you can also say that 8 is greater than 3. The third example is negative 2 is lesser than 0. Negative 2 is lesser than 0. Let's take a look at the number line here. Negative 2, you have the 0 here, and negative 2 is here. It's on the left side of 0, so negative 2 is less than 0. But, so this is negative 2 is less than 0. But you can flip this, and by flipping this, you also flip the symbol. So flip vertically, or flip horizontally, or flip vertically. So you have 0 here, but it's now greater than negative 2. But negative 2 is less than or lesser than 0. Let's clean again. Now here, number 4, negative 6 is greater than negative 9. Let's look at the number line. If negative 9 is on the left side of, or if negative 6 is on the right side of negative 9. So negative 9 is here, and 6 is here. So as you can see, negative 6 is greater than negative 9. So negative 6 is greater than negative 9. Or if you flip vertically, you're on the vertical axis, that's negative 9 to be lesser than negative 6. Let's take more examples. Now, let's look at this. In the fourth example, you have negative 6 is greater than negative 9. But on the fifth example, I'm still using the same number, but they are now positive. 6 is lesser than 9. Let's look at the number line again. So you have 6 here, and of course 9 is here. So 6 is on the left side of 9, therefore it is lesser than 9. But if you say 9, you can also see from here that 9 is on the right side of 6, so 9 is greater than 6. So here you have 6 is lesser than 9, or 9 is greater than 6. Then you have, of course, as I've said, positive numbers are always greater than negative numbers. So you have 3 is greater than negative 4. So you have 3 is greater than negative 4. But you can flip on the vertical, with respect to the vertical axis, negative 4 is less than 3. And of course, negative 8 is lesser than 8. And then you have here negative 8 is lesser than 8. Then you have, if you flip on the vertical axis, you have x greater than negative 8. And on the seventh example, you have a very large number. Negative 45,343 is less than negative 45,341. Well, they just differ by 2, but this one is found on the right side of this number. So therefore, this one must be less than this one. Or you can flip vertically also that relation between the two numbers. And then the last example is 0 is also always greater than any negative number. By the way, the 0, you can write 0 as that one, or 0 as negative 0, but 0 doesn't hold any sign. Negative 0 is equal to positive 0. It doesn't matter. The sign doesn't matter there. So that's about it for the number line. And then we go to, since we now know about negative numbers, and we have rules of addition and subtraction, and these rules, or the rules of addition and subtraction, apply to all numbers, whether the number is positive or negative. So for example, the first rule that we had, or that we have talked about in the previous sessions of this series, the number 0, if added or subtracted, as I've said, positive 0 is equal to negative 0. If added or subtracted to a number gives the same number. 0 is a number that represents nothing. So whether you add or subtract 0 to a thing, you're not getting more or less. It's still the same. So you have here 21 plus 0 is 21. Or you have negative 207,345 plus 0 is still negative 207,345. And then you have 247 minus 0 is still 247. And negative 5 minus 0 is also negative 5. So that's the rule number 1. So anything, when you add 0 or subtract 0 of that anything, will give you that same thing. Now let's go to rule number 2. The number 1, if added to a number, gives the next or succeeding number. So if I add 1 to 86, it gives me 87, because that's the next number to 87. Then 5 plus 1 is 6. Negative 4 plus 1, that's negative 3. Let's take a look at the number line. If it's the next number to negative 4. Negative 4 is here, and the next number is negative 3. So negative 4 is a number before negative 3. So in this case, you have, if you're negative 9, the next number to 9 is negative 8, and the next to negative 8 is negative 7. The next to negative 6 is, negative 7 is negative 6, and then the next to negative 6 is negative 5, then the next to negative 5 is negative 4, the next to negative 4 is negative 3, and the next of negative 3 is negative 2, and the next of negative 2 is negative 1, and then you have the next of negative 1 is 0. And then 0, the next number to 0 is 1. And then you have the next number of 1 is 2, 3, 4, and so on. That number we already know, or those numbers we already know. So here, the next number to negative 600 is negative 599. That's negative 600 plus 1 is negative 599. Then you have negative 15 plus 1 is negative 14. And that's for rule number 2. And then we go to rule number 3. In any order, the sum of two or more numbers is always the same. So, if you add 123 to 5, that gives the same number as 5 added to 123. Or, if you add 34 plus negative 23, that is equal to negative 23 plus 34. By the way, in the previous lecture, we knew that this one you can write as 34 minus 23. So here you have negative 99 plus negative 12 is of course negative 12 plus 99. They're negative 99, so they're the same. Here you have negative 6 plus 7 is equal to 7 plus negative 6. And then you have here negative 2 plus negative 3 is just equal to negative 3 plus negative 2. And then you have 82 plus 1 is just 1 plus 82. They're the same. It's equal to 83. So you can reverse the order in adding two or more numbers. So in this particular example here, you have 82 plus negative 43 plus 15. You can write that as 82 plus 15 plus negative 43. So you interchange this one with that one. So that's still the same. Or you can write 15 first, and then the next one would be negative 43 and then 82. So that's still the same. The order does not matter in addition. So you have negative 15 plus 82 minus plus 40 plus negative 43 is just the same as negative 43 plus 82 plus 15. So you have different orders of the three numbers here, and they all give the same sum or the same total. And now let's clean this. And so here you have 5 numbers added here. So you have 1673 plus negative 456,000 plus 23 plus negative 736 plus negative 98. You have here they are arranged in such a way that the positive numbers are written first and then the negative numbers are written next to the group of positive numbers. So by the way, you can also write this as, because we knew that this is just 1673 minus 456 plus 23 minus 736 minus 98. You can write that. This one, and that one. We knew that in the previous video. And also here you have 1673 plus 23 minus 98 minus 456 minus 736. So that's still the same. Now let's go to the next rule. So here, if 1 is subtracted to a number, it will result to the number before it. So in this case, this is a very big number here. 34,678,910 minus 1 will give you 678,909. This one is 1 less of this number. So maybe you will not appreciate that. Let's go to a smaller number. So here you have 8 minus 1 is 7. So if you subtract 1 to 8, it gives the number before 8. So 7 is before 8. Here you have negative 15 minus 1 is 14. 14 is a number before 15. And then you have negative 5 minus 1 is negative 6. Let's look at the number line again. So negative 5 minus 1 gives you the number before it. The number before it is negative 6. Yeah. And then you have the next example is 0 minus 1 is negative 1. Of course, you have in the number line 0 is here. 1, and in this side you have negative 1. So 0 minus 1 gives you the number before 0, which is negative 1. And of course, in this one you have 456 minus 1 would be 455. That's the number before 456. And this one here, 1649 minus 1, negative 1649 minus 1 is negative 1650. So do you know the rules now? Those rules are simple. You don't have to memorize, you just have to understand them. Okay, let's go to the next rule. We also have this rule. If a number is subtracted to the same number, the result is always 0. So here, 765 minus 765 is always 0. Is 0. 48 minus 48 is equal to 0. And then 0, or you can write it this way. You start with 0. 0 is equal to 34 minus 34. Or 0 is equal to 1. 1 minus 1. Or 0 is equal to 2 minus 2. Any number subtracted to itself is 0. You have to understand that. So anyway, by the way, this one here, for example, you can also write that as 34 plus negative 34. We learned that in the previous lecture. This one also, you can write this as 765 plus negative 765 equals 0. So that's it. I hope you're not confused. There's so many things to learn. All you need to do is understand them. Okay, the next rule is, so we explore that rule. If a number is subtracted to the same number, the result is always 0. So we explore that rule. Here you have 8 minus 8. You have 8 minus 8 equals 0. You can write this as, you can flip vertically. You have 0, flip um, on the vertical axis. You can write 0 equals 8 minus 8, or this one is equivalent to that. 0 is equal to 8 plus negative 8. And since you can rearrange also, you can also rearrange, if you add two numbers, you can change the order. So this is also equal to 0 equals negative 8 plus 8. So the rule was, if a number is subtracted to the same number, the result is always 0. So if you subtract 8, or if you subtract negative 8 from negative 8, this is equal to 0, because negative 8 is the same number. Negative 8 is equal to negative 8. So if you subtract negative 8, so if you subtract negative 8 from negative 8, it will also give you 0. But earlier we had 8 minus 8 equal to 0. And then you have here, since you have 0 is equal to 0, then this negative 8 minus negative 8 is equal to 8 minus 8. That's found here. They are equal. So here you can rewrite this, because 8 minus 8 here, you can rewrite that as negative 8 plus 8. So you can write that as negative 8 plus 8. That one. You can forget about 0. Anyway, that's nothing. So these are equal. Negative 8 minus negative 8 is equal to negative 8 plus 8. Now, here's the trick here. Here's the trick. I add 8 here. If I add 8 on this side, and then I have to add 8 also on this side, what happens? That's right here. I add 8 here. Of course, I also have to add 8 somewhere here, or that's here. So what happens here? This one, look at this, and this one, what is that? This one looks like that, and of course this also looks like that. That is also equal to 0, so you have 0 here. That's why you have 0. And of course 0 is nothing. You can forget about the 0. You can forget to write about, or you write it. You don't have to write it. So this means that, so that's 0. So this means that minus negative 8 is equal to positive 8. Or you can forget writing the plus sign. So you have negative 8 is equal to 8, or 8 is equal to minus negative 8, or negative of negative 8. So finally, we have minus negative 8, or negative of negative 8, is it just equal to 8. Formally, we write this number as negative of negative 8 with a parenthesis. So this is the formal way of writing that one. The formal way of writing this one, or this one here. So when you see negative 8, that's just equal to negative 8, or negative of negative 100 is just equal to 100, or negative of negative of 7, or say 5, is just equal to negative of negative 5. It's the same. So you can write this one with that one, with those, using those symbols. These are called parenthesis symbols. These are called parenthesis symbol. So we know more about the negative numbers. Then you can write 12, for example, as this one. 12 is just the negative of negative 12, or 12 is minus negative 12. Any positive number can be written like that. So in this example here, you have 35 plus 87. You can write 35 this way and then leave 87 untouched. And you can also write it this way, and then 87, the 87 here can write as minus negative 87. Or you can leave 35 untouched and then you write that way. They are all the same. They're all equal. They're all equal. I mean, their value is not changed. Here you have negative 87 of negative 87 plus 35, because you can interchange this one. You can this one here. Okay, look at this. Take a look at this. You can write this as this. For this one, you can write this as 87 minus negative of 35. That's here. So you can write 87 as negative of negative 87, and then of course this one is also plus 35. You can, this one is also the same. So you're beginning to let the rules sink in your brain. Now the next one is this example. You have 5 minus negative 9, then minus 8 plus negative 6 minus negative 7. You can write that as 5. Negative 9 is just plus 9, so this is just plus 9. And then you can write this as positive negative 8, plus negative 8, so that's just that. And then plus negative 6 plus negative of negative 7 is plus 7. So here is just plus 7. So what to do next? You can rearrange the numbers. When you're adding numbers, you can rearrange them. So you can group all the positive on the left side, and then you can write the negative numbers after them. So like for example 5, you can write 5 here. 7 you can you can write next to 5, and then 9 you can write next to 7. I am arranging this. This is just me. I'm arranging the numbers in ascending order. So in terms of magnitude. So here you have you can write plus 6 here in this position, and then you have negative 8 in this position. So you then have 5, 7, 9, and then you can write this one as negative 6 and this one as minus 6 and minus 8. That's one. So what you do to simplify this one is that you can combine the positive numbers, then you can also combine all the negative numbers, so that to make your life easier. So here you can combine 5, 7, and 9. 5 plus 7 is 12, plus 9 is 21. And then you have negative 6 plus negative 8 is negative 14 if you use the subtraction gadget. So this one is now 21 minus 14. 21 minus 14 is 7. And of course you have here the last one, negative 14 minus negative 8, that's just negative 14 plus 8, that's equal to negative 6. So well, we can use the gadget. Let's take a look at this. But anyway, we will check that later. So we go to the next rule. Here, may I just read it? It does not matter how many zeros are subtracted or added anywhere. The result is always the same. So here you have negative 46 minus 21 plus 105 minus 89. You can place 0. It's still the same because 0 is nothing. Anyhow, 0 does not affect the numbers, the value of the numbers. So you can add 2 zeros, or you can add or subtract 3 zeros. It doesn't matter. So that's 0, nothing. And in here you can also place 0 anywhere. You have, in this example, you have 5 minus 908 plus negative 63. You can also put you can also put parentheses if you want. So you have 5 minus 908 plus negative 63 plus 0, or you can put the 0 here, or you can subtract 0. It doesn't matter. 0 doesn't hold any sign at all, only positive and negative numbers. 0 is between positive and negative numbers. So that's it. Next, we explore that. Exploration. How to complicate things with nothing. the power of 0. So here you can see in this example, you have 71 is equal to 71 plus 0. But you can write 0 as a number minus to itself, or a number subtracted to itself. So you can write 71 plus 32 minus 32, because this is equal to 0. But since you can write, you can interchange the order, you can also write this. So from as simple as 71, as simple as 71, you have now a longer expression which is still equal to 71. So at least you can see that 0 has complicated, or made 71 a little messy, but actually it means nothing. So here you also have in this example you have negative 25. This is equal to 0 plus negative 25, and then of course you can write 0 as a number subtracted to itself, any number, in this case 58. So you can rearrange them, so you can put 25 in between the 58 and negative 58. Then you can combine this. 58 minus 25 is 33 minus 58. And then you can also do this, combining these two here, which is negative 83, and retaining the 58 here. So they're all the same. And as a conclusion to this exploration, you have adding something somewhere and subtracting the same thing has no effect. No effect. It's still the same. The value here is still, this is still negative 25, and here is still 71. So the last rule before we proceed with some examples of subtraction. So if a bigger number is subtracted from a smaller number, the difference is the negative of the result of the bigger number minus the smaller number. Let's just look at the example so quickly. We have a bigger number 20 subtracted to 4. This is of course negative 16. And when you subtract 4 from 20, you have 16. So here, if you interchange, this one is different from to this one. This one is different to this one. Let's check. 20 minus 4 is equal to 20 plus negative 4. So this is just equal to negative 4 plus 20. This is not the same as this. So they are not the same. Not the same. So when you subtract a larger number to a smaller number, that gives you the negative of the result of the bigger number minus the smaller number. So the next one is negative 9 minus 2 is negative 11. So how about 2 minus negative 9? This is 2. This becomes plus 9. So 2 plus 9 is equal to 11. This is equal to negative of negative 11 here. This one you have 15 minus negative 12 equals 3, and so equals negative 3. I mean, you have negative 12 minus negative 15 is negative 12 plus 15. This is equal to 3. That's negative of negative 3. Don't worry if you don't know this. We will check later on in the subtraction gadget. 18 minus 35 is equal to negative 17. Or 35 minus 18 is 17. That's negative of negative 17. So that's just the rule that you can repeat over and over again until it sinks in your mind. In subtraction, the conclusion here is that in the subtraction of two numbers, if the order of the two numbers is reversed, then it will give the negative of the original difference. Just like what happens here, 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 and here. Okay. Let's go to solving some examples. Here you have 8 minus negative 6. 8 minus negative 6 is, oh yeah, wait. 8 minus negative 6 minus 13 plus negative 7 minus 11 plus negative 9 plus 5. You have that. You can simplify that into 8 plus 6 minus 13 minus 7 minus 11 minus 9 plus 5. You can then write all the positive numbers here on that region, and then write all the negative numbers here, or the minus. So you can combine 8, 6, and 5. So 8 plus 6 is 14, plus 5 is 19. And then you have 7, negative 9, negative 11, negative 13 is just, or negative 7 minus 9 minus 11 minus 13 is just equal to negative 40. So 19 minus 40 is just 21. The next one is 35 plus negative 47 minus 62 minus negative 89. So you can write that as 35 minus 47 minus 62 plus 89. So you can write all the positive numbers here and all the negative numbers here. And then 35 plus 89 is 124. And then negative 47 minus 62 is 109. So that's 25. So that's how you do it with the negative numbers. So it's not that complicated. Negative numbers is part of our lives, and we should deal with negative numbers as much as we deal with positive numbers. Then this is a subtraction gadget that we used earlier. So let's take some examples, like what we had. What is 20 minus 4, for example? Or say, let's just say this, negative 9 minus 2. So this is 1, 2, you can do the wave, minus 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And then this is just equal to negative 9 plus negative 2, right? So you can add 2 more here, and then you can count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So that's equal to negative 11 because it's on this side of the negative here. So we can also get I'm sorry, we can also have negative 15 minus negative 12. This is equal to what? This is negative 15 plus 12, right? So you have 12 above, or we can write negative 15 first. This is 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 12 13 14 15. That's the negative number, and then the upper number would be 12. So you have 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 12. And of course the wave will cancel here, cancel here, cancel. All of this will cancel, will go to 0, and then you have 1 1 2 3 down at the negative. So this is now negative 3. So negative 15 minus negative 12 is negative 3. And then we can also do another example. We can do another example. How about negative 14 plus 5, or maybe just this 12 minus negative 3. This is equal to 12 plus 3. So this is just 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10. This is 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 12, and then you add 3 1 2 3. So with 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 12 13 14 15. So this is equal to 15. So therefore 12 minus negative 3 is 15. So that's how simple it is. So we'll proceed with an example for that we can explore on. So here you have as an example, this is we have 4,000, for example. 4,000. This is an example for large number minus smaller number. So you have 4,378 minus 6,000. Sorry, this is later on. We change that. Okay, let's do this. 64,235 minus 27,698. How do we solve this? 5. The 5 is less than 8. So we can borrow 10 from here, so that we have 15 here, and then your 3 will decrease to 2 because we borrowed 10 from there. And then your 2 is less than 9. So you have to borrow 10 again. You have to borrow 10, and then this 2 here will decrease to 1. Okay, so that's 1. But this one is less than 6. So you have to borrow 10 again from here. So this is 1, and then you have you have 1 here, and then 4 minus 1 would be 3. But 3 is less than 7. So you can borrow 10 again from here, and then you have 13 here, and then 6 minus 1 would be 5. That's how you do it. So you now crash this out, and then 15 minus 8 is 7, and then 12 minus 9 is 3, 11 minus 6 is 5, and then 13 minus 7 is 6, and 5 minus 2 is 3. So your answer is would be this one. Negative, I mean. Oh no, positive. So as easy as that. And then you can also do 5,000 5,493 minus 4,856. So how do you get the difference of this? So you can rewrite the above number, because there are numbers in here that are less than the numbers here. So let's check. 3 is less than 6, so you can write down 3 here, but you have to borrow 1. But well, you have to borrow 10. Do that makes it 13, and then the 9 here becomes 8. So 8 is greater than 5, so it's okay. You don't have to borrow 10, so you retain the 4 here. But 4 is less than 8, so you have to borrow 10 from 5. And then you have, of course, 5 becomes 4. I mean, you subtracted 1. So now you have 13 minus 6 is 7. And then you have 8 minus 5 is 3. 14 minus 8 is 6. And then you have 4 minus 4 is 0. So your answer, this is 0. So you don't have, but you don't have to write 0 there. So your answer would be 637. And we can also do this one here. 563,764 minus 9,897. So how do we get the difference? So here we write, by the way, don't forget to crash this out when you have written the number. So this one here, you have on the third example, you have 4 is less, so you can write 4 here, and then but 4 is less than 7, you have to borrow 10 from here, and then 6 will become 5. 5 is less than 9, so you have to borrow 10 again, and then 7 will become 6. But 6 is less than 8, so you can borrow 10 again to the next number to the left. So this is 16, and then you have 2. But 2 is still less than 9. So you can borrow 10, and then your 6 becomes 5. And then there's nothing here. There's 0 here. So you can also bring down 5. So 14, so you have to crash this out again. So I'm sorry, that's the thing to do, so that you won't be confused. So 14 minus 7 is 7, and then 15 minus 9 is 6, and then 16 minus 8 is 8, and then 12 minus 9 is 3, and then this is 0, this one are 0, so you can just bring down 5 and 5. This 5 minus 0 is 5 and 5 minus 0 is 5. So your answer would be this one. So I hope you got them. That's large number minus smaller number. How about small number minus a larger number? Small number minus larger number. So let's take this example here. You have 4,378, which I wrote earlier, minus 6,724. How do you do this? Of course, this one is smaller, and you're subtracting a larger number here. So what you do is you interchange the order. So you have here negative 6,724 minus a plus, plus 4,378. And I'm sorry, I have to erase this. Sorry, this is plus 378, this one. And then you can rewrite this as 4 you can bring down 4 here, but 4 is less than 8, so you have to borrow 10 from here, and then you get 2, but you're already borrowed 10 from this one, so you bring down 1 here, and then 1 is less than 7, so you have to borrow 10 again from here, and so that's 6 is greater than 3, so you don't have to borrow 10 anymore, and then you bring down this negative 6 here. So you have to crash this out. So 14 minus 8 is 6, and 11 minus 7 is 4, 6 minus 3 is 3, and then you have 6 minus 4 is 2, but you have to bring down the negative sign. So that's the answer. This is negative 2,346. So for the next example, we can do 857 minus 2,324. So what is this one? This one is smaller number, and this one is larger, so it's impossible to subtract that way, so you have to rearrange the numbers. So we can rewrite this as negative 2,324 plus 857 here. Okay, I missed it again. So this is plus 857. So what's the answer here? So this is 4, but 4 is less than 7, so you have to borrow 10, and then 2 becomes 1 here, but 1 is less than 5, so you have to borrow 10 again, and the 3 becomes 2 here. But 2 is again less than 8, so you have to borrow 10, and then the 2 here becomes 1 negative. don't forget to crash this out, and then you can do subtraction of 14 minus 7 is 7, and then 11 minus 5 is 6, then 12 minus 8 is 4, and then you have negative 1 minus 0, that's just or yeah, that's 1 minus 0, but you can leave that, and then you just carry the negative sign below. So this is now equal to negative 467. So that's how you do it. And the last example is, so when you're subtracting a larger number from a smaller number, you have to do this thing. You have to rearrange the two numbers. You have to put the subtrahend that becomes the minuend. So anyway, this is the process. When you do small minus large number, then you have to reverse the two numbers. So this one is the last example. The last example is 28,512 minus 34,601. How will you get the difference? This one, 28,512 is of course less than 34,601, so you reverse the two numbers, so you have negative 34,601 in here, and then you put 28,512. No, again I committed some mistake, so you have to put here 28,512. So you take the difference now. So let's change color, and then 1 here you bring down, but 1 is less than 2, so you have to borrow 10. But here you have 0. You can borrow 10. You can borrow 10 from here, but this is 0. That's you have to. You consider this as 10, so you can just bring down 9 there. So if you borrowed 1 from here, so this becomes 5, and then the 0 becomes, or the 10 becomes 9. Okay. So 5 is equal to 5, so you don't have to worry about that. You don't have to borrow 10, so you can bring down the 4 here, but 4 is less than 8, so you have to borrow 10, and then the 3 here becomes 2. So what happens? Please don't forget to crash this out. So you have 11 minus 2 equals 9. 9 minus 1 is 8. Then 5 minus 5 is 0. 14 minus 8 is 6. And then 2 minus 2 is 0. So you don't have to put that. So just bring down the sign. That's negative 6,089. So this is negative 6,089. So that's all, folks, for this session. So don't forget to subscribe to this channel and share the video. Please help some people to understand the basics of mathematics, and then you can watch out for the next video. Of course, we're finished with addition, subtraction, and negative numbers. Then the next video would be multiplication. See you and have a nice day ahead.